Flarg. Uh, I wanted to test this stuff before I went to bed. And I figured I'd stream it just because it'll force me to actually pay attention instead of million billion multitasking. And then also I can um I can also then look back on it later. But I'm very tired, so hopefully okay. Man, I'm fast. Man, I'm fast. Welcome to DMFI 101 Enhanced Edition. Speak to the entry warden to begin. In order to start a scripted conversation with an NPC as a DM, you will need to do something special. Right click in an empty quick slot to bring up the radio menu. Then left click the upper option Other Actions, followed by the upper left option Socialize, and lastly the top option Talk to. You can then use Talk to the quick slot command. Can I do that right now? More options. Assign social. Talk to. Okay. Greetings, Daisy. Are you prepared to begin your training? Yes. You need to know DM powers to enter a castle. Go do that. Approach the door, right click, brings up the radio menu. Upper left, click on the Dungeon Master Force Unlock selection. The door will now be unlocked. The radio menu option for it, change to Dungeon Master Force Lock. You can toggle it back. Okay. Open Once you open the door and enter, you'll find yourself in an antechamber. Speak to the person you find there for your first lesson. Nods. Okay. Force unlock. Huzzah. That's a baby. Hello, Daisy. Welcome to DMFI Castle. When you go through the door behind me, you'll be in the main castle chamber. Talk to the jester there. He's a fun-loving guy. But first, I have a few things to tell you about the DM user interface. As with the talk to button, the DM client interface has a slightly different way of using the examine function with PCs and NPCs. I can be your test subject if you like. Okay. Right click me to bring up the radio menu. Go to the upper left and click on More Actions. Then click on Top Choice to bring up the Examine submenu. Oh, God. Can I do that right now? Right click, upper left, More Actions. And then click Top Choice. What? Examine. Okay. I see. Okay. Easy enough. In the Examine submenu, the left choice Examine will show my description. That works the same way for DMs as it does for players. The challenge rating that you see is based on the level of your DM avatar, which is by default set to 1. Level 1, so I'm a perpetual newbie? It doesn't really matter in game, since the DM avatar is invulnerable. If you choose to use your avatar to cast spells, however, its level may make a difference for the spell effect. Go back to the Examine menu. The middle selection character sheet displays for the selected PC or NPC. This works the same way as if you were looking at your own one as a player, okay? You're quite a little rogue, aren't you? Are they? I suppose they are. Finally, go back to the View Inventory screen. This opens the PC or NPC inventory. You can view and move its contents. just like your own. You'll get a chance to practice this later on. Almost sent him to limbo. Okay. Great. What's next? Now, if you look at the top left of your UI, you will see 6 selection boxes. Chooser, Creator, Show Triggers, Appear, Unpause, or Pause, whatever. Jeez. Difficulty slider. Difficulty slider, huh? The Chooser and Creator are the most powerful tools, and you'll get to try them out later, along with Show and Hide triggers. Right now, I'll explain how the others work. Which button would you like explained? Appear and disappear. The appear and disappear button toggles whether the DM avatar is visible to players. If it says appear, it means you're currently invisible. So if you press the button, your avatar will appear to the players in-game. And the UI button will change to say disappear. It works in reverse for the disappear. Okay, so that makes sense. You can tell by looking at your avatar if it's visible. An avatar invisible to players is transparent, similar to a stealthed PC. Try cycling between visible and invisible by clicking the button and moving around to see the difference. I don't need to do that. Other DMs in-game appear to you fully visible, even when they are invisible to players, but they never appear transparent to other DMs. Okay. Well, I'm not planning on having other DMs, but thanks. I'd like to ask about another button. Pause. I think I understand pause, but let's see if there's more. Any DM clicking pause or hitting the spacebar on the keyboard in the default key settings will pause the game for everyone. This functions like player pause in a single-player game. Servers usually disable player pause to avoid disruptions, but DMs can always pause the game. As a DM, you can move freely while the game is paused and use DM avatar commands and actions. Some of these, such as healing, are applied instantly to the target. Most will be accumulated in the action queue and only executed once the game is unpaused. Okay, well that's good to know. You may need to unpause and pause several times to do a series of actions all at once. This may be a little awkward, but sometimes it's necessary to avoid having players or NPCs continue their actions. Okay, well that's going to be annoying, but okay. One useful tip as a DM is to get used to hitting the enter key to get chat line when you want to type something. Otherwise, it's easy to accidentally hit spacebar while still in the UI menu and pause the game. Okay. Now pause the game, move around, you'll see an hourglass symbol. I don't need to test that right now. Other buttons. Difficulty. That's difficulty in a D&D game. That's very interesting to me. Slider has 5 settings, with the left being the easiest and the right being the hardest. The 4th setting from the left is D&D hardcore rules, while the middle is normal. There's hardcore rules in 3rd edition? What the fuck? What's the easy mean? Because it's defaulted to easy. What's this one? Very easy. Okay. While the game is running, the difficulty can be adjusted by the DM, and the change takes effect immediately. This can be useful if you want to balance combat without changing individual counters in-game. For example, if players are doing badly in their combat encounters, but you don't want to manually adjust future ones. Okay? Alright, that's all. What's this say? Door to main hall. Okay. To the main hall. Oh. That's the guy from Baldur's Gate 3, isn't it? Like the evil guy in the Baldur Temple? Not Baldur, Ball Temple? Whatever. Talk to button. Respect my authority, bow down before me. Okay. Aren't you the castle jester? Points to the floaty text. Haha, the joke is on you, I shall slay you now. As in DM, I'm invulnerable. Keep forgetting that. Curses. So what could I help you with? What is this place? This is the central hall of the DMFI castle. At any time, you can check your tutorial completion status by clicking on the status board. Is that this? Yes, it is. So, what can I help you with? What's my next step? When you're ready to use the portal to the Wilderness Road area, that will begin the main part of your DM training. Is that over there? Yes, it is. I like the depth of field. How do I complete the module? Once you finish the Wilderness Road, cave entrance, and creepy cave areas, come back here and use the status board. You will receive your diploma and a send-off. How will I be able to get back here? By then, you'll know how to use your DM powers to accomplish that. Nothing. Goodbye, creepy man. This portal will take you to the wilderness area. Yeah, there's nothing else. Endless hallway. Fades out, asterisk. Examine me. Welcome to the Wilderness Road. Here you'll learn to use show hide trigger buttons, special DM movement actions, and possess NPCs. The Wilderness Road guidebook has been placed in your inventory. Use it to begin the area tutorial. Got it. I'm going to put it down here so that I can click it. You begin reading. Welcome to the Wilderness Road area, Daisy Daisy. This interactive guidebook will show you how to use some of your special DM abilities. Show hide triggers, DM movement, and possessing NPCs. If you need to restart the conversation, just use the Wilderness Road again. You will have the chance to jump to a specific topic in the conversation. You will have the option to end the guidebook conversation after each segment of instruction. I am ready to begin. First thing, I like to demonstrate the show hide trigger interface button. Click it. It shows hide triggers, which means the triggers are okay. You should now be able to see a yellow area, a generic trap, on top of the hill to the west. Oh, yep, there it is. As well as a red area, a trap placed on the road to the north. Yep. Traps are always visible to a DM regardless of the show hide triggers. What? Oh, traps are. Okay. We'll now look at DM movement. Move north by clicking the road until you're next to the trap there. Okay. Holy shit, I'm fast. As you can see, DM avatars move much faster on the ground than PCs, although ones with boots of speed can come close to DM running speed. Right-click the trap trigger and you'll see that it brings up a radial menu. This trigger is a trap, so you can do trap-related actions, disable, recover, etc. on it. The DM is always successful in these actions. For now, leave the trap as is. Okay. But what about the trigger on top of the hill? Yes, what about it? You obviously can't run to it. However, DMs can teleport within areas in two ways, using the minimap and using line of sight. Bring up the minimap. If you don't already have it up already, you should see a point called Top of Hill. All active map notes are seen in the DM's minimap, which also has the entire area revealed automatically. Map. That's a tiny map. Okay. In the minimap, double-click on the point next to the map pin. Zoom in on the minimap if necessary. You should be instantly transported to the top of the hill. Oh, okay. The minimap can be used to teleport across the area, but sometimes the DM just wants to teleport to something he or she sees. Let's use line of sight to teleport to get off the hill. Find a spot on the road and right-click it. Okay. Jump to point. Jump all players to point. As you can see, jumping works across height elevations. However, there's a catch. Triggers try going back to the top of the hill, right clicking on it. Now only the trigger radial menu appears. You can see send entered event. Okay. I guess I did it wrong. Oops. I see, okay. What are those? Selecting these options causes whatever is in the trigger script for entering or exiting to fire. If you don't know what the trigger does, it's safest to not use the send events command. Now click the hide trigger button, then jump to the top of the hill. Oops, using line of sight. Click show triggers, then right click the trigger you're standing in. Select send event after you receive the message. Okay. Send event. Made it to the top of the hill. You must be a DM. Ooh, finish with that. The most powerful way of traveling is using the chooser. You can jump between areas or to specific objects within areas using it. Let's see how you can use it in the Wilderness Road area. Click on the chooser button. This will bring up areas in the module. The area you are in, Wilderness Road, is highlighted. Click the plus sign next to it to expand it. Okay. Now, you now see several categories of objects. They can appear in the chooser. Expand them all by clicking on their plus signs. You'll see that some are empty. Okay. Under creatures, you should see one named Bandit Leader. Click on him and you will see him highlighted in yellow, while the cursor is over his name in the chooser. Note that selecting an object also highlights all of the menu options in the chooser that you can... Okay. Bandit Leader. Oh, yep, there he is. He's down there. Okay. Well, look at most of them later. For now, find and click Go To button in the upper left, which will jump your DM avatar next to the NPC. Then close the chooser. Okay. Go To. Oh boy. Okay. I'm there. Now we will look how Neverwinter Nights DM plays NPCs by possessing them. Right click on the bandit leader, bring up the radio menu. Okay. Select the bottom menu, take control. Take control, you will then be the bandit leader. You only have normal powers only. In other words, you only have the commands available to that NPC normally would. Okay. Take control. Take control. Okay. Playing an NPC with normal powers is almost exactly like playing a PC, since you don't have access to your DM powers. However, you can bring up the NPC inventory and character sheet, quick slot items, and commands, and so on, just like you were playing the NPC as a PC. Bring up the NPC character's sheet and inventory to see what he is like. Character sheet, inventory. Okay. A fighter. Level 3 fighter. I'm finished. Two issues to be aware of when possessing NPCs are identifying items and using quick slots. As a DM avatar, if you use the radial menu and open the PC or NPC's inventory and examine an unidentified item there, it will automatically become identified. If you're possessing an NPC, then the NPC's lore skill determines if you can identify it. Okay. When possessing an NPC on normal powers, you can configure their quick slots however you like, but once you unpossess them, their quick slots will revert back to default, so don't bother setting them unless you truly need them, for example, NPC. Okay, combat, yeah. Now let's look over the take full control powers. First, you need to unpossess the NPC. Right click, bandit leader, select unpossess. Okay. Unpossess. Cool. Now, right-click the bandit leader and select Take Control Full Powers. You can also right-click empty quick slot to assign Take Control Full Powers. Okay. Yeah, I have it here. And then the bandit leader. Either way, you should see some immediate differences. Yep. You keep the DM's quick slot bar in this mode. This allows you as a DM to use DM commands or tools you have quick slotted while possessing the NPC. However, you lose access to the DM avatar inventory. If the NPC is going into combat or has a skill-based confrontation with any PCs, it's best to possess using normal powers. That way, it's the NPC skills and combat abilities that are used rather than DMs. You can see or you can use all of your DM powers in this possession mode. Try using your DM movement powers, for example, by moving on the minimap. Yeah, I trust them. I don't need to do that. Next, let's see how you can control multiple NPCs in combat. Ready to begin. Unpossess, move away, draw a box on the ground around the leader and the other bandits hiding behind the trees. Do this by holding control before you click with the mouse and drag. If you don't get them all in the box the first time, or if you actually include the DM, oh, they're there. Okay, kill this guy. Hold control. Okay. Oops. Okay. Blue circles. The circles below the NPCs show they are all part of the active group. Now let's give them something to attack. You see 3 named adventurers, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, coming down the road. They'll stop shortly before getting to the trap. Oh, they're talking. Cool. The bandits faction is not set to be hostile to the adventurers. If it were, he and the others would attack immediately after sighting them. In this case, you need to give attack orders yourself. Hold down the shift key, left-click one of the closest 2 adventurers. This will cause the entire highlight bandit group to run out and attack, catching the adventurers by surprise. Okay. Oh my god. There they go. Well then. That was exciting. Now that Huey, Dewey, and Louie have finished bashing the bandits' heads in, it would seem appropriate to have them comment on what just happened. One way to do this is by jumping between NPCs, the quickest way to possess one with full powers. Say what you want, then jump to another. Okay. I don't need to do that. You're ready to move on to the next area. You'll need to transport the 3 NPC adventurers there too. Control click with the mouse. Same way you selected the others. Okay. There you go. Now right click 1 to bring up the radio menu. Limbo option at the top and watch them fade away. Limbo. Goodbye. But where did they go? You'll be shown that along with how to bring them back as soon as you get to the next area. But how do I get to the next area? You'll travel the next area using the chooser. Bring up the chooser interface, which shows all of the areas in the module. Yes. Okay. When you are ready, click on the cave entrance area, then click the Go To menu button highlighted above. You'll receive a new guidebook. Okay. It says cave entrance. Yes. Here I go. Whee! Oh. Cave entrance book. Okay. I want to remove this though. Empty. I can leave it on there. Okay. You begin reading Welcome to the Cave Entrance Area tutorial. This interactive book will show you how to use additional chooser powers, introduce you to using the DMFI wands. Ready. While traveling here using the chooser, you arrived in the center of the area. This always happens when you use the chooser on an area. If you want to jump to a specific creature or other object in the area, select that object in the chooser to jump to it. Let's get our NPC adventurers out of limbo. On the minimap, find the put adventurers here, map point, and then go to it. Okay. From here, open the chooser, which shows you all of the module areas. Note that all of them are in alphabetical order, except for limbo, which is at the end. I do see this. Expand limbo by clicking on the plus sign, then expand the creature section. Huey, Dewey, and Louie should be there. Notice that their status of hit points and immortal is displayed. I see. That means the creatures can be damaged but never killed. You can toggle that and in the invulnerable status on either creature or PC. Now select each of the NPCs in limbo and toggle immortal off using the bottom center chooser. I see. Okay. To bring back creatures from limbo, click on them, then select the jump button in the chooser. Then click on the spot that you want them to appear. Do this now with the 3 adventurers. Okay. Jump. To set the mood for entering the creepy cave area, let's make it a rainy night instead of a sunny day. If you already, activate the DMFI Exploder widget in your inventory by right-clicking on it and selecting Use from the radio menu. This will automatically place all of the wands and widgets in your inventory. Use. Oh goodness. The book disappeared. Using the DMFI wands. Change the time of day. Okay. Here. How do I do that? If you haven't already, activate the DMFI Exploder. Okay. Find the DMFI wand, DM wand, and drag it into one of the open quick slots. This is the best way to use the common DMFI tools, so you don't have to look in your inventory every time. Okay, well, which one of these bastards is that? There it is. The DM wand. Ready. Don't use the wand yet, because then it will start its own conversation and end this one. When you have finished reading these instructions, use the wand on the ground. Select menu option, change time of day / weather, and then make it night. It will immediately turn dark out. Then use the same menu, but this time make it rain. Then use the guidebook and restart the conversation. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, change time of day and weather. Make it night. Oh. Okay. Make it rain. Oh. Is it raining? I hear the rain. It is raining. Wow. Okay. Didn't even know that was possible. In this engine. Done. Ready. Continue. Now we'll look at handling encounters and traps. Bring up the chooser. Expand out everything in the cave entrance. Dragon. What? I see that the encounter. Did I click the right thing? Yeah. Okay. Encounter category. There is dragon group, strong level, and under triggers and traps, there's epic level fire trap. The encounter would spawn an ancient dragon in the area every time it was triggered. In this case, it would be a bad thing for our adventuring party and not very fair for them. So let's delete that encounter. Okay. Highlight the dragon encounter in the chooser and then click the kill option above the encounter. Above, kill option above. Sorry. Kill. Kill. Okay. Using the chooser, you can delete objects and kill creatures in this way without even being in the same area. Now let's look at the trap. This would be unfair to the group of adventurers, so you should get rid of it. Delete it in the same way you deleted the encounter. You could also disarm it by using the trap's right-click radial menu, but deleting it from the chooser is much quicker. Go ahead and remove the trap. Okay. Epic fire trap. Delete. Kill. With the trap out of the way, our NPC adventurers can enter the cave. Use Control-click to draw a box around them and select the group. Shift-click the spot on the ground just before the cave entrance. We'll all move there, walking pace. If you want the NPCs to run, then you should double-click. Move the 3 adventurers around a bit to test before moving them back. That's very handy. Right-click, shift-click to enter transition. NPCs can't be commanded to use area transitions in the GM client, so to make it appear as if they're going through the entrance, you need to move them next to it, limbo them, transfer them. Okay. A little awkward. With practice, you can do it rapidly. But before they enter the cave, we should make it seem even creepier by using the DMF sound wand, located in your inventory, and click slot it. Okay. Target, buff, voice, player, fail, naming, destroy, voice, stop, mute all, ditto, party, XP, voice, sound? This is what it was? Yes. After reading these instructions, activate the RON by clicking on the quick slot, then on a spot near the cave entrance. Select cave sounds from the conversations menu and pick some appropriately creepy ones. Once that's done, exit the conversation, enter the cave. You'll receive new guidebook there. This all seems rather convoluted. Small things, but bug, rock, wind, drunk man. Alright, and then they wanted me to go. Creepy guidebook. Creepy cave guidebook. Go. You begin reading Welcome to the Creepy Cave Area tutorial. This interactive guidebook will show you how to use the creator interface and additional DMFI wands to create and manage encounters. I'm ready. Let's bring our NPC adventurers here. Chooser, open the cave entrance area, jump Huey, Dewey, and Louie here to a spot near the cave entrance. Click on one's name, jump command, then select a spot. Cave, creatures. Nope, actually they're over here. Cave entrance, creatures. Jump, jump, and jump. That guy's got a torch or something. Now they're here. The previous area deleted an encounter and a trap, which were overpowered for the adventuring party. Let's see what would have happened if they encountered that dragon. About time I created a dragon. Oh my gosh. Hello, Doom. Thank you. I appreciate the sub. Testing is going well. It's very straightforward. This game is old, but whatever. Um, yeah. I'm just going through piece by piece here and learning how to do the DM mode because I'm gonna be testing it in the coming days. I'm gonna basically be running the exact same adventure that I ran in the Divinity engine a few days ago with a few of the same people. But I'm remaking it in this, and we're gonna like compare. Yeah, thank you again. All right. In the previous area, deleted an encounter with a trap. Okay, yeah, it's about time I created a dragon. Open the creator. You see a number of different categories. Creator. That's not something that I've clicked on yet. Things you can create. Expand the creatures category. You see two options: custom and standard. Objects are those included in the base game, while custom objects are ones specifically created for a module. Okay. Expand the standard section and then the categories monsters and dragons. Why are monsters and dragons? Standard monsters. Oh, I see. Dragons. Oh, God. That's a lot of dragons. That's a lot. Holy crap. They got every age of dragon from baby to ancient. They got a mist dragon. They got wyverns that are just like mixed into this mess. And then they just have black dragon, just a small black dragon. Yeah, I'm trying. I mean, maybe not for a full campaign, but just stuff to test out, right? Anyway, yeah, lots of shit here. Select Ancient Dragon from hostile faction since it will automatically attack the adventurers. The creature's faction is displayed after their name. Is there any that aren't hostile? I guess commoner. I guess the good ones. Oh no. Yeah. So in D&D, metallic dragons are good. Chromatic or the like the rainbow dragons are bad, evil. And I guess it's just in this, that's just if they're evil, then they're bad. Alright, so what did it want? Hostile faction. Okay. Select an ancient dragon. Ancient dragon. Oh, well, I think we gotta go with red. Right? I think we gotta go here with the red. Okay. Now click create on the top. And then an open spot on the floor. Stand back and watch. Okay. Go dragon. Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. Well... He looks very proud of himself after that. He looks... He's like, yeah. Oh my gosh, and they just turned into sacks. What's the fight? Well, that was where they're incited. As you can see, anything with the hostile faction automatically attacks creatures of any faction except its own. The other standard factions in the game are Commoner, Merchant, and Defender. The Defender faction will come to aid of the other two factions if they are attacked. The others will only assist their own faction. Okay, that's good to know. Seems kind of hard on the NPC adventurers as they're gone now. Huey and Louie are gone, but we have the technology to recreate them. Open the creator, go to creatures custom tutorial. You'll see the three of them there. Okay. You'll need to get rid of the dragon before recreating the NPCs. If you wanted to save the dragon for later, you can limbo it, since it's usually quicker to retrieve a creature from limbo than it is to create it again. How about we kill it instead? To kill the dragon, the quickest way would right-click it and select the kill on the radio option. You could also do it from the chooser. the dragon will instantly die, leaving behind whatever loot script specifies. After you kill the dragon, you should pick up the loot. Don't do it just yet, though. Okay. Since it's an ancient dragon, it deserves to go out with a bang, not a whimper. Find the DMFI effects wand in your inventory and quick slot it. Don't activate it yet. Okay. Oh, here we go again. Effects wand. Effects. There it is. Alright. After activating the wand, look at different types of FX you can click the dragon with. Use the FX wand as many times as you want to see different effects, then kill it. With the radio command, use the guidebook again and go to the next topic, recreating NPCs. Okay. Use the wand. Click the dragon. Beam effects. Chain beam. Oh, we're chained together now. Environment effects. Firestorm. Oh my god. Magical duration. Web. Holy moly. Burst effects. Demon head? What was that? I didn't see. What is demon? Was that? Oh, hand. Horrid writhing. Oh, well, that's disgusting looking. Greater ruin. Oh my god. Swinging blade. Oh. Well, that's cool. That would be great for a trap. Summon effects. Summon undead. Summon undead dragon. Whoa. Holy shit. Yeah, this is crazy. Holy moly. I could play with this all day, honestly. Nature balance? I love that the dragon's just sitting there like, yeah, whatever. The whole time. Darken. I don't think that worked quite well. Status effects. Big B's clench fist. Oh my gosh. It's him, it's Big B. There he is, he's big. That one don't stop. This is going. Dragon's enjoying the show. He's like, yeah. I'm an ancient dragon. Implosion. Imploded. Holy word. Oh. That's the thing about these old games. Because they're very low fidelity and like low poly, they could add like a billion things because it didn't take them long to make, probably. Fire beam. And that's something that Divinity lacks. Divinity doesn't have anything like this. It does have like weather, and I can put like blood on the ground, but I can't like do explosion attacks and stuff like this. Oh my god. But Divinity, so far, based on what I've been seeing, it's a lot easier to manage as a DM because I am locked to this little freak right here. So I can go anywhere and do anything, but I don't have like an actual camera. So I'm just this. I would be ever present, though I could, I could turn invisible to everyone. Obviously, I can always see myself, but it makes it a little awkward, but it's still fun. All right. I guess back to the book. Creepy cave. Make sure the dragon is gone first. Oh, thank you for reminding me. Goodbye. But the other thing Divinity doesn't have is Divinity is very limited on creature selection. It still has, like, dozens, but nothing close Nothing close to this. And also, this is D&D, and I love D&D. So, I don't know. There's definitely give and take on both. But yeah, you don't want it to be a chore, for sure. Um, that's partly why I'm doing the test. I would definitely prefer to use a D&D system over a Divinity system, just because I like D&D a lot, and the Forgotten Realms and stuff. But if it's annoying to play, then all these cool things don't really make much of a difference uh if I'm struggling to run stuff. But maybe there's just different ways to run the game, right? Try to figure it out differently. I know, dude. If Baldur's Gate 3 had a DM mode, that would have just been. I would have probably never played normal D&D ever again. That would have been it. Um, but yeah, this definitely has a bigger learning curve, at least on the DM side, than Divinity's. But Divinity's is very, very simple, which I like. But I don't know. I thought Divinity's also looked very pretty. This is cool, and it has like the depth of field, but it's also old. All right. To recreate them in the creator, you'll see 3 of them. Click each creator, custom, NPCs, humans. That's not them. Monsters. Special tutorial. Oh, yeah, that's who they are. Okay. There we go. Dewey, Huey, and Louie. The back. Using the creator, the DM can create or recreate anything in the module palette, the term for all of the objects available. In addition to giving a DM a lot of choices for setting up new encounters, it allows a DM to recover from almost any problem encountered in-game with NPCs or objects. How is that? You already seen how you can recreate NPCs who should have not have been killed. A DM can also do things like recreate plot items which have been lost by players. For example, if they suffer a client clash before saving their PC. Oh. That's not something I even considered. Because, yeah, it's like, if you don't save your game, you just lose everything. However, any creatures or objects created will be new and not have status changes that have occurred on the previous copy. For example, if you recreate the henchmen, they would not automatically be added to the party. Okay. I see. So there's no memory. Now let's set up a more appropriate encounter for the adventurers. Look in the creator under creatures, custom, monsters, humanoid, goblins. Oh my god, goblins! Goblins! Humanoid goblins. Oh my gosh, goblins. Some of these don't have a faction. Well, no, the faction is cave goblins. I wonder what that means. There are several types available with hostile and cave goblin factions. Click on each of those with the hostile faction, drag them into an open quick slot. You can now create each goblin by clicking on... Oh, see, this is good. I thought is there a way to get... Okay, yeah, there are more. There are more quick slots. Oh, there's a lot more. Shift, control. Is there alt? No. Okay, so I have these. I have all this, and then I have these two. Okay. But they want hostile, the hostile ones. They want the hostile ones. Drag them in the open quick slot. Okay. Hostile archer. Hostile shaman. Hostile warrior. They're in my shift one. You can now create each goblin by clicking the quick slot and the ground. I finished quick slotting. Now create one of each hostile goblin in a small cavern to the north. Oh. Over here. See, I can teleport. The other thing about this game, unlike, as you might have noticed, unlike Divinity or normal D&D, this game is not turn-based. This game runs in real time. So DMing combat makes it very, it's like, you really have to rely on the AI. In a way that makes it more dynamic. It kind of makes it feel like an MMO, but it also makes it very hectic for the DM. But, it's another thing just to get used to. Create one of each hostile goblin type in the small cavern to the north. That way the goblins and NPC adventurers won't see each other and start fighting immediately. Okay. Shift. Up. Keep. Ooh. Goblins. Look at how scrungly these dudes are. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Wait, how do I examine? Is it here? Yeah. Look at the picture. But he's very difficult. Oh, it's because I'm level 1. My avatar, my DM avatar is only level 1. Actions. I thought there was a way to just look at his model, but I might be thinking of... There's this picture. This picture's from behind. That's funny. Okay, I placed the goblins. Living the best cave life. These guys are about to get killed, I bet. The cabin is rather bare. Let's dress it up with some placeables. In the creator, go to placeable objects, standard miscellaneous. Create one of each type. Campfire and also a cage. Okay. Creator. So in one thing that this also has on Divinity, you can place objects like this through this menu, but you can also make maps in an editor called the Aurora toolset that's built into the game, and it's super easy. It's like click and drag, and like it's all tile set based. So like if you wanted to make this room, you would literally just click and drag, and then it would like auto place a bunch of this stuff, and then you could decorate it with props however you want, or just leave it because it literally would spawn in with like stuff in it already. You could delete the stuff to an extent. So making maps is really fast and really nice. And the Divinity engine does have the option to make maps, but it's like full on like modding. Like you have to go into the Divinity editor and like make the map and then export it properly, and all that jazz. And the big thing with that is that, you know, all the maps that I used on the test, I did not make. I didn't make any of them. So thankfully there's tons and tons and tons of custom maps. But if I wanted something specific, I'd have to make it myself, and it would take a long time. It would not be simple. It would be kind of like making a map for VR chat or something, because you have to like optimize it, make sure that it all runs properly, you know, manually set up all of the lighting and sounds and shit, and you know, so that's something this game has going for it. If I wanted to make custom maps, it's like bip bop boom and it's done. Yes, both of these have ups and downs. I really like how, at least so far, I like how Divinity runs. Like when you're GMing it, it like makes it, it's very well made, very easy to follow. You can put custom maps and put custom images and edit all the monsters to have different stats to whatever you feel like. And it looks beautiful. Like Divinity looks gorgeous, but in terms of like player customization, there's not a lot, including the armor, which kind of ends up making you look weird most of the time, especially if you're not just a flat human. If you're one of the other races in Divinity and you wear like a simple like hood on your character's head, it turns into like a giant headdress if you're a elf or a lizard, which is weird. In this game, you don't have that issue. I've played a lot of the single player of Neverwinter over the years, so I know this game quite well. I just haven't DM'd in it a lot. But anyway, I'm just rambling now. It says, go to creator, go to placeable object standard. Placeable object standard. A campfire and a cage. Where? Miscellaneous. Big hole. Well, here's the cage. Okay, and here's a campfire. Put it here. Oh, that's cool. It started lighting them instantly. Yeah, there's mods to make things look better, but like my issue is not that it doesn't look good, it's that the armors in Divinity are just really fucking weird. Like, an armor that in your inventory looks like a hood, when you put it on the lizard, turns into, like, a gigantic skull with, like, feathers sticking out the top of it. It's very strange, and not very cohesive to, like, roleplay, which is a problem. Because then people are gonna have to, like... be very picky and choosy about their armors unless they want their barbarian or their random wizard or their just normal dude to look like a crazy shaman all the time. Yeah. All right. I placed the things. Go back to Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Select them. Control click box around them. You should see blue circles. Okay. Do that. Love the little footsteps. I made my DM avatar Daisy. They kind of look like them. In a weird way. I don't know why I'm disappearing. It don't matter. None of this matters. Control. No, that's shift. Control click. Select. Okay, I got them. Now shift click the spot just inside the next chamber and the adventurers will walk to that point. Shift click a goblin, they would run and attack it, even if they couldn't see it. Okay, I'll make sure I don't do that. Here we're doing, Louis, are exploring the cave. Here they come. Oh my gosh. We can watch them. Here they come. Here they come. Here they come. Oh, they saw them. They're going in. An epic battle ensues. Oh, they killed the first one. Oh my god. They put him to sleep. They put him to sleep. He's not dead though. Finish him off. Coup de grace. Alright, this is fun actually. This is like fun to just play alone. Imagine if I like streamed this in DM mode, but I had no players, and it was just me streaming this, and then I let you guys, like, let the audience, like, use channel points or whatever to, like, vote on what was going on. That'd be kind of fun, actually. Okay. Adventures of 1. Let's set up the final goblin encounter. Create the goblin leader in the back of the main chamber to the west, along with some cave goblin faction followers. To create multiple copies of the same creature, hold the shift after you create. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I need to go to the creator. I need to go to creatures. I need to go to, is it custom? No. Yes. Okay. Goblin leader. Create. There he is. Look at that man. Look at that gorgeous freak. Really fucking low poly. Holy crap. Look at that guy. Damn, dude, that's a look. Alright. Imagine VR chat with that. That'd be the most optimized character ever. Yeah, like the old call-in DM campaigns, like in those fucking old, like, public access shows where you would call in and, like, go on an adventure with a guy. Let's set up the final goblin counter, blah, 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 blah. Okay, he wants... Okay, they want me to try... Let's do archers. And then if I hit shift, it said I can place multiple. Give him a couple archers. And then... Escape to stop. And then... Let's go over here. I need to remember, you can control your character with WASD, but it's tank controls. So I need to remember to just click, because if I try to use the tank controls, it fucking takes forever. Got the archers. Let's get the warriors. The warriors. And then let's get a shaman. It's kind of enormous. Did they want me to put like 100 guys in here? Alright, done. Oh. Stop. Done. Because the Cave Goblin faction is not set to automatically hostile to the Defender faction, which is what the adventures are, combat will not be automatic. For the final encounter, move Huey, Dewey, and Louie into the main chamber with the Goblin leader. The big thing that I wish was that I wasn't this character. if I was just a floating camera that could like zoom all over, that would be like the most ideal situation for me. But you know, it's still kind of cute to have a little character. I think the issue, if I were to like make this a show though, is that like my little guy would always be there, so it's hard not to want to try to include them. Okay, here they come. They're coming into the chamber of goblins. Where's Huey? There he is. And then it wanted me to full power talk to full power goblin leader. Click the talk to button. What? Shout something about goblins surrendering. Click the talk to button to the left of the chat line to change to shout mode. What? This? Okay, hit this. Oh, this. Shout. Help me. Help me. Burn. Flurn. Gurf. Fern. Wolves. Watch out! Okay. That's enough. Jump between the goblin leader and the adventurers and have them say some appropriate words. Once the deal has been reached, the goblins... Oh, I think he wanted me to ask them... Surrender. 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 Surrendor. Surrendor. And then Louis says, I don't speak goblin. and then the goblin says, I know. and then Huey says, I don't know how I got here. And then Dewey says, what's up, Doc? And then Goblin Leader says, I didn't know you were chill like that. And then Dewey says, and then Louis says, and then the shaman goblin says, oh my god, kill me. And then he dies. Use the DMFI sound wand for appropriate crowd noise under the category people sounds. Applause or boos, depending on where the sounds are coming from. Once you've finished, use the Creepy Cave guidebook. Creating items. Managing inventories. Okay, use the DMF5 sound wand. I have that right here. Ha ha ha. Hit the wrong button. People sounds. Applause. Yeah, they look really like they're applauding. Uh-oh. They're moving. I clicked. I was trying to select. Can I get them to do emotes? Because I know there's emotes in this game. Can they all do an emote together? Socialize. Emote. Bow. I bowed. That's... I wanted them to bow. Awkward. Alright. Fire and water. Crackling fire. Where's that book? Let me read that. Items. It's now time for the adventurers to collect their promised reward from the goblins. Oh. Okay. What should I start with? In the creator, the standard, miss standard, creator, item, standard, miscellaneous, potions. Potions. Oh my god. That's a lot of potions. Cure serious wounds. Okay. Found it. Right click on Huey to bring up the radio menu. Top left other actions. Examine. View inventory. More actions. Examine. View inventory. Okay. Huey wants a cure serious wounds potion. Simulate him receiving one by creating a potion on Huey. Click on the item. Click to create. Then click target icon Huey. Oh, that's perfect. That actually is really good. Though in Divinity they also have this, so I can't really be too impressed. Huey also wants the Goblin Leader's weapon. Close the creator. Open the Goblin Leader's inventory. Hit the eye. Okay. So I have to like juggle it, which is fine. So much crap. Inventory. Your sword is better by a lot. Why did you want that? All right. Also, you can possess the Goblin Leader on normal powers. Okay, yeah, I know that. Now create the adventurers whatever loot you think they should have. Take some time. Oh my god. Go ahead and just look at our million items. Just look at how impressive our items are. Alright, Louie. Alright. I think Huey's a half-orc. Or Dewey. I think Dewey's a half-orc. Are you a half-orc? Yes. Yes, he is a half-orc. And I bet you're a half-elf. Nope, you're a human. You just have pointy ears because of low poly. And I bet you are a gnome. I can tell by your fucking nose. Hit the wrong thing. How do I go back? Yep, he's a gnome, alright. Let's give him Duragar. A fucking Duragar jester outfit. Let's give him a jester outfit. There you go. And then I'm gonna possess him. And I'm gonna make him wear it. Wait, why didn't it give it to him? Oh, it's up here. He'll wear it. Oh, you fool. You absolute buffoon. You look ridiculous. Why is your torso like that? Like, your torso and your hips are like that. That's so fucking nasty, you freak. Alright. Alright, get out of this guy. And then the orc. He's got a flail. Looks like shit. Let's give him a better weapon. What is he? Is he just a fighter? Barbarian. So he should have an axe. A two-handed axe. Plus 7. I fucking gave the gnome nasty pajamas that don't even cover his chest, and I gave the orc a fucking enormous axe that unidentified. Whatever, he'll be fine. Bro, look at his fucking. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that in old D&D, half orcs had human skin tones usually. So he has like his one of his parents, like the human side of his parents' skin tone, but he's an orc. No, you can be green, and his portrait looks like it's green. I think they just didn't. That's another thing about this game. Even in like the campaign modes, the portraits like rarely actually match the model that you're looking at. All right, these guys are hooked up. Finished. It's time for the adventurers to celebrate. Find the emote wand. Oh, that's how you get them to emote. Quick slot to emote wand. Emote wand. Oh my god. Exploder. Affliction dice bag. Auto follow emote. Wait, emote or DMFI emote? Probably not the PC one. The PC one I think is for PCs. Counter widget ditto. XP wand. Voice wand. Admin wand. Sound wand. Buff wand. Music wand. Maybe it is the PC one. I don't see another one. Nope, here it is. Put it on the book for now. And then I'll put the book. What am I not using? Heal. You can target the wand on an NPC to have express a wide range of emotes when you're ready to use the wand on who you do nearly to make them celebrate using emotes, and you'll be almost done as well. Restart the conversation. Select the final selection. Okay. Use the wand. What would you like to do? Dodge. Drink. Duck. Fall backwards. Fall pro. Read. Read. Continuous emotes. Get low. Get low. Get low. Get low. Get low. Get low. Meditate or pray. Threaten. Why isn't like be on ground one? Whatever. Final. You've now completed the final core tutorial. Using the chooser, you can jump to the DMFI Castle main hall area. Use the status board to confirm you've completed all the areas. On my way. I'm just gonna leave him doing that forever. What did it say? Main hall? Is this where it said? Definitely don't kill. Okay, so apparently clicking this will tell me how far I am. I want to check my progress. Your status is sent to the VM channel message. Was. You've completed the cave area. You've completed 3 of 3 of the areas. Now go to the adventure starting area using the chooser, where there's a party waiting for you. Talk to the NPCs and use the adventure starter guide for bonus content. Oh my god, there's a party. Oh my god. Wow, all my friends are here. Guys. Forced encounters? Not in the proper area. Talk to NPCs to use the adventure start guide for bonus content. Adventure start guide. I'm supposed to have an adventure start guide. Well, I'll just talk to some people. I shall devour your mind and rein your flesh. Okay. I mean, it's congratulations on your DMness. Hail, Daisy, Daisy. That's more like it. You can read the module guide section on resources for new DMs, and there's fireworks display. Oh. Jump to the top of the hill and pull the lever to start it. I'll do that after I talk to everyone. It'll be the last thing I do. Thank you, Screaming Man. What about you, Entry Warden? Hello again. Congratulations on becoming a DM. There's a fireworks show. Yeah, I was told that already. After it's done, if you haven't already, you can customize your avatar's clothing and equipment. Save the character. The local DM Vault folder by hitting escape. Use the DM avatar in any mod. Once you are all through, you can check the DM and multiplayer resources in the module guide. Oh, the module guide is a PDF. It is not in the game. That explains it. Wow, you did it. How does it feel to be a DM now? Great. I've been one for 20 fucking years. Though I'm not sure I'm ready for live players. Use the Adventure Start Guidebook for some tips. Best way to think about it. What you want to do for an adventure, then just do it. When you're ready, you can start the fireworks. Yeah, everyone's talking about these fireworks. Good
day.
Hi there, DM boss. Nice, except for the part about being dragon food. It's not my fault, really. Maybe I'll see you around. Bro got eaten by a dragon. You didn't really get eaten. You got blown up. You got, like, exploded by a million explosions. Congrats. Points finger at Daisy. But no fun be killed by dragon. It's a tough life. Maybe I'll see you later. Why do I keep telling him maybe I'll see him later? I don't think I will. Upon my paladinhood, I salute thee for becoming a DM. Must say, however, being chomped by that dragon you created was not fun. Tired being an NPC. Maybe I'll see you later. Maybe I'll see you later. Maybe, just maybe. Is it up there? Where's the fireworks show? Oh, this. Pull. Oh, whoa, wow, woo, yippee! Oh my goodness! Wow, whoa, whoa, oh my god. Why is like, oh my god. Combat music is playing. Yippee, woohoo! Yay, whoa, oh my god, I should be dead right now. Holy fuck. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, there's meteors coming down. Oh my god. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh my god, what was that? A fucking alien abduction spell. Yay. Wahoo, yippee. Yay. Yay. Uh-oh. So there is a forest section. Admittedly, I have done this before, but it was years ago. I think the forest section just explains how to do a bunch of like, oh, what the fuck? Woman showed up. Like, it shows you how to like set up custom encounters of monsters that you can like call on. So like you would call on like a custom encounter and it would spawn like 6 guys in an area. But I don't really need to do that. And if I do, I'll just come back in the future. Does this just go forever? Is it just random effects for the rest of the until I turn it off or leave? Yay! Hooray! They're summoning fucking skulls from hell to laugh at us. Hooray! 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 Oh my god. Yeah! Yippee! 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 Yay! Hooray! Oh my goodness! Whoa! Well, I will say that this adventure was quite an adventure. I definitely will probably play more Neverwinter in the future, like just the campaign. And doing that idea where it's like I'm controlling everything would be kind of fun in this. Like have like people vote on even the character that gets made and then take them through a little adventure and do dice rolls and shit and see what happens. That'd be fun. Let people vote with channel points. Pretty neat. Thank you again for the sub earlier. I appreciate that. It's late though. Jesus. So that's something for the future. For now, I'm gonna probably head to bed, and I'm going to... my next plan with this is I'm gonna continue working on setting up the adventure, kind of remaking what they went through in Divinity, and then from there, running it and just seeing how how it fares. I feel like the Divinity one is good and simple. I feel like this one will prove to have a lot more options because it actually has like D&D character sheets and stats like D&D. And the adventure I ran is a D&D adventure. The one that I ran in Divinity is a D&D adventure. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Dare to compare. Nothing says I can't use both for various different things. So, but you know, there's a lot of things I want to do, as you know. Yeah, the real time will just, I think for the most part, just take some balancing. From what I saw on the side thing here, it was actually doing rolls. Like, let's see if I can scroll up enough. Is it over here? I don't. In the past, when I've like played, yeah, here it is. It like does, it actually does rolls. So it's interesting. It's like literally a D&D simulator. It like, it looks at your character sheet as an actual D&D character sheet, and it actually does dice rolls to calculate if the damage goes through and shit. It's weird. But yeah, doing combat in real time will just be me playing an RTS versus people playing an MMO. And I guess if they want something weird to happen, you hit the pause button, right? You hit the pause button, they're like, I want to push him off a cliff, and you're like, okay, and then you push him off a cliff. So I wanted to try, actually, I might go, let's go back to the field. Before I head off, there was one thing I wanted to try. Is it custom encounter region? Let's go to the forest. I'll just go there just so we can see it. I guess I can't go there. Wait, why can't I go there? Am I just stuck here? Oh no, go to. Okay, I see. Okay, so what I wanted to try here, there's a wand that says like stop combat or something I saw. NPC control, FX, emote, destroy, voice, stop combat. I want to try this. I'm going to spawn a bunch of shit. Actually, I should have done the FX one. What's the FX? This is the pot? This? No. I wanted that FX. This. Wait. Counter widget. No, okay. Voice wand, sound wand, music wand, admin server wand, affection wand, encounter wand, NBC FX. Here it is. It's this weird fucking thing. Okay, I want to make it day first and foremost, just so I can see better. Weather. Was it not in the effects wand? Am I totally wrong? Emo. Was it in this? Oh, it wasn't that. Make it day. Okay, now I can see better. Yeah, there is a lot of things, but that would just, you know, just something to get used to, because it was the same for Divinity. Just a fuck ton of menus. You have to figure out what does what. I will say Divinity is a lot simpler, but the simplicity makes it a little bit more restrictive, right? Because this game has, like, tons and tons of monsters, tons and tons of options, tons of tile sets and options and blah, 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 and you can just ignore the things you don't want. But it does overcomplicate everything. Whereas Divinity is very sleek and nice and looks good and runs good and functions well, but it doesn't have a lot of options. So, like, for example, in that dungeon that, I don't know if you saw, you might, I think you came in after, but they went through a little dungeon. And at the end of it, in Divinity, I had to use a troll as the final boss, but in the actual adventure, it's a bugbear, which is like a hairy thing. If you played, you know what those are if you've played Baldur's Gate. But it kind of, you know, you have to figure it out. Yeah. So the thing about it, though, is that I'm the kind of DM that thinks that less is more. I definitely am like, you know, I used to run old school D&D just for fun. It wasn't like my main thing, but I did it sometimes. And one of my favorite things about old school D&D is that, like, there was only like 4 races to choose from. And it made it like, you know, people were like, I wish I could have been this, but it's like, yeah, but the restriction kind of helps the creativity because, you know, real life you only get to be a human, right? So you make yourself interesting based on that. So it's kind of the same deal, I guess. Anyway, I'll get to what I am trying to do here. Okay, first things first, I'm going to pause. Are the goblins still there? They are. I'm going to do this. Pausing. Yeah, they did say this in the tutorial. You have to, like, pause and unpause. Because certain actions only go through once. Unpaused. I'll spawn some more of these guys. I'll make it a big battle. Is that shaman? Okay, thank God. I thought I was accidentally spawning like 30 shamans. Alright, let's get Huey, Dewey, and Louie back in. They're in here, right? And then a tutorial. Okay. Let's move them. Let's put them back here. I don't remember where my goblins are. They're over there. Alright. Let's get our boys. Let's get the good boy gang back. They're not going to have their weapons anymore, but whatever. Louie. Cycle them, and let's just click them. So I need to... I don't know how this works. So it's going to be just random clicking. It's going to turn into a fucking big battle. This is kind of fun, though, spawning shit and just watching them fight. Okay, here they go. Stop combat. Stop combat. Stop combat. Stop. This don't work. this really don't work. Stop combat, damn you. Oh, maybe it does work. Nope, it don't work. Alright. So basically, don't fuck up. is the thing here. Is there no way to change their faction? Holy moly. So many things. Maybe it's in this. What would you like to do? Oh, change alignment. Change target to next party. What? Change target towards good. Nope. Increment the change. What? Change target to next party level. Interesting. Okay. There's like a lot of shit. Kill them all. That must be changing my own alignment. Maybe I would have to possess the creature. And then click change alignment. Well, actually, no, that wouldn't work. Did he summon a fucking boar? Bro out here. So yeah, that's the thing about this as well. I guess if push comes to shove and I fuck something up, then I have to pause the game and then kill all the enemies. Which, you know, or limbo them, which is probably the ideal situation. More than likely what they want you to do is, before you start running the game, you set up the creatures in the editor to be the factions that you want them to be. Because it doesn't seem like there's a way to do it in-game, but I know that there's a way to do it in the editor. Boarmancer. He's probably... he's either a ranger or a druid. Let's see. He's a wizard. What the fuck? Why does he have a crossbow, then? What's your spells, dude? His battle training versus giants? What the fuck? Oh, he has summoned familiar. That's what he summoned. Oh, he summoned... Oh, I don't know what his spells are. Where do I see his spells? I guess I have to possess him. So Neverwinter Nights was designed to be literally a third edition D&D, like, engine. So like all of the rules are in here, just like how Baldur's Gate has all of the 5th edition rules, which is why it makes it really sad there's no DM mode. It's because it's literally built in. Maybe someone could mod it someday. You can mod mod in DM mode into. Probably wouldn't be that hard, especially if you mimic this and have just a DM avatar. Maybe someone could make a DM class that lets you summon creatures and whatever, but who knows? Um, how to see his spells. Here they are: Flame Arrow, Ghostly Visage, Melf's Acid Arrow, Summon Creature. So this is another thing though. D&D's combat system, especially for Magic, is incredibly convoluted and weird. Like it's not like it's not hard to understand, but it's like he won't have any spells again until he rests. And I don't know if it's a long rest or a short rest, but he has to rest before he will get any more spells. And yeah, this is Neverwinter Nights. Welcome in. Regrettably, I'm about to end. I've just been testing the DM mode in Neverwinter Nights. It has a very comprehensive Dungeon Master mode that lets you do all kinds of stuff. Though it does take a little bit to understand. Let's see. What is this? Yes. This is an old game based in 3rd edition. It has all of the rules built into it. So you really literally can play in here. It has built-in dice and stuff with this mod that I'm running with. Which is weird because you have to add a mod to get the dice. So I don't know what they were thinking for the original game, but I mean, I'm never going to not play with the mod. I'm always going to play with the mod. That's what this tutorial thing was too. It was for that mod. Otherwise, there's like no tutorial for how to run DM mode other than the manual. Yeah, the dice are great. The dice are here. I can show you the dice. Where are they? Right here. Then you get all this, and you can strength. -2 modifier. Daisy rolled a nat 1 with a -2 and got a -1. That's a very Daisy thing to happen to her. Rip Daisy. Sorry, Daisy. But yes, this was interesting. I'm definitely interested to try it out more. I'm planning an adventure with a couple of the same people from last time. Already, the pros for this system that I have found compared to the Divinity one, and just in general, lots of D&D monsters, and D&D races, and D&D classes, and armors and weapons that you're familiar with. Lots of mods. Mods are very easy to add. You can mod in anything, and this game's been around for about 20 years. So there's like an ungodly amount of mods for anything that you could possibly imagine. A lot of options, it would seem, as long as I keep my initial adventures fairly simple. I feel like it would be fine. What other pros are there? I mean, it really is. It's a big pro that this is built on the D&D system and has like the dice rolls and like has, you know, all the stuff. Like it has all the monsters, it has everything. You could run a lot of classic adventures, new adventures, everything you could ever want. If you know D&D, even 5th edition, you'll be able to understand these rules because 3rd edition is very similar to 5th edition. Another thing is that this game is not 50 gigabytes like how Divinity is. It's only like 10, if even that. And it's way cheaper. So if I wanted people to play this that don't have it, you know, Divinity goes on sale for like $10 sometimes, but default it's stayed at 50 like forever. So, or 40. So if I wanted to introduce new people to Divinity, I'm either waiting for a sale or hoping that they have $50. Um, this game is 20 usually, but you can find it like on like Humble Bundle sells it quite often in bundles for like way cheaper. It also goes on sale, and when it goes on sale, it's only like $1. It's like ridiculous. Um, yeah, it's an easier ask, but it does have a. In going into the cons, huge learning curve. If a person doesn't really understand D&D even on a basic level, they're not going to really understand this system. It does have a lot going on, but a counterpoint to that, you don't, just like a lot of things in this game and a lot of these menu options and a lot of these widget toys in the inventory here, um, you can just ignore most of it and still have a good time. Especially if you choose a certain class like a fighter or a barbarian, and your whole point is to click on things, then you have a good time, and the rest of it's just role play. Oh yeah, another pro is that you can do emotes. I like that. It's good for role play. What else? A con would be the combat. I don't think is a con. It's just weird. The fact that it's real time, but it's still using dice rolls, really does turn it into like an MMO. But most people have played games like that, either an MMO or a real time game. So I feel like anyone I would be inviting to play this with me would kind of get it. It just would be weird for a DM situation. A lot of people run this, like run Neverwinter Nights like an MMO. Like you can find servers that have like 30 to 40 people and are like they're all playing together, and there's DMs like curating the adventures and stuff. Um so that's the thing to think about. What else? I think another thing is that if I wanted to stream this a lot, I don't know. You can tell me if it's too distracting or not, but like, has it been distracting to have my little character in the middle of the screen the whole time? I might be just overthinking it, but maybe it doesn't matter. But in my head, I feel like it's a much smoother watching experience when I'm like invisible eye in the sky. Um, yeah, not for you. Yeah, maybe I'm just overthinking it. You know. I honestly feel like this system would be perfect for doing like I had the, I've talked about my tavern idea for VR. I've also thought about doing that for D&D. It actually started as a D&D idea where the players run a tavern and then I as the DM just have things happen in the tavern. This game would be perfect for that because it's in real time. So if people split up in the tavern, all I would have to do is like to entertain some of them, I would just set up some enemies who are having a bar fight and then have some of them go stop that and then, you know, as like a distraction. Or like, spawning things in and out of the tavern, like, and all of the fucking monsters that you could use. It would just be really good. The fact that it's real time would make it more hectic instead of having to do like turn based. Because that's the thing that I really wanted for the VR tavern is like it just feels like an actual place, right? Obviously, VR is not, you don't think about it like it, but VR is not turn-based, obviously, but it's technically in real time. So running D&D in this, now that I'm thinking about it, running D&D in Neverwinter Nights in real time, you would kind of have to get in a similar, not the same, but a similar mentality as DMing for VR roleplay because it's all happening at once and you're kind of having to micromanage everything. The only difference being you're still in control of the NPCs, but you're not really because they're AI controlled. So it's kind of similar in that respect. Like during the giant E-Day fight, I was floating above all the NPCs giving out orders, telling them what to do while they were fighting the PCs. And in this case, it would be the same, except for instead of using my words, I would be commanding them with like an RTS game. Yeah. So I don't know, just an idea. There are some cons, like for example, the pausing thing. People not being able to do stuff while the game is paused, not being able to stop monsters from attacking is a big fucking deal to me. Um, like for example, during the Divinity, there was a moment at the very beginning or near the beginning where they fought some goblins, and one of the goblins came back, like, didn't come back to life, but I said they were unconscious. They woke up and they were no longer an enemy. In this game, if I wanted to do something like that, the monsters would have to die, and I would have to have a separate non-hostile NPC goblin ready on my hotbar to spawn in. Um, which, I mean, it's all like that's the thing is a lot of these issues that I'm saying are like, yeah, that's an issue, but it's like not really a huge issue because I just do that and then it's done. And then in the end, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, well, what if he had custom items? It's like, well, the game taught me how to spawn in custom items, so it really is just like, D&D is already a weird game that you make up everything. So this is basically, if you just think of this like a virtual tabletop, but combat is done in real time, which in a way makes it fucking sick because when do you ever get to play D&D but your combat is in real time, but it's still your character and still your stats and still all your abilities that you chose. It's the same thing. I guess the main issue I would have is like if you are in the game and someone is like, you're in the combat and someone's like, I want to try to push the monster over. It's like there's no way to stop the fight. I guess I would have to take control of the monster and move them away so that they could do the dice roll from the item. Um I don't know, maybe that just makes it hectic. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of workarounds. It will definitely like we're definitely going to do some testing here in the coming days, probably this week or next week depending on how long it will take for me to finish the adventure. I'm running a classic 5th edition starter set adventure, which also got turned into its own full adventure, but that's not where I played it. Called Fandelver. It's the same adventure I ran in Divinity. It's going to be basically the same gist, but the maps are obviously going to look different because it's totally different engine, totally different way the maps are made. But it's going to be the same deal. It's like the exact same quest. I don't really mind the metagamey aspect because it's literally about the test. It's about testing the system and getting the opinions of the players. So they're going to know a few of the twists because of that, but, whatever. They're going to go and fight some goblins. They're going to go to a cave, rescue some people, fight some more goblins. In this mode, I'm actually going to be able to have a bugbear and not have the final boss be a troll, which will be nice. And then they're going to go to a farm, and then they're going to go to Phandalin itself, which I have to build. I've already got most of the other maps done, and it didn't take more than, really, 10 to 20 minutes each to get the basic setup done. Obviously, I need to still put the enemies and shit in them. Figuring out how I want to run these adventures is going to be a thing. Like, do I want to put the monsters in before, or do I want to just have them on my hotbar and spawn them as they go? Because I feel like spawning them in as you go kind of makes it so that I have to be a lot, way more proactive with where the monsters are going to be and stuff. But it also means that I have way more control to the encounters and when they start. Because as we saw when we were testing the monsters in the caves with the goblins, the NPCs started attacking the goblins in that room before they even got through the doorway, and a lot of the fighting ended up being bunched up by the doorway at the start, and then they had to squeeze in through the rest. It worked out in the end, but it's still kind of bottlenecky through the AI, because I think that's not something I can control. Is how far the monsters can see and stuff. I can't control if I don't think I can control if a person is stealthed or not, which is very difficult. In Divinity, I was doing it by having the characters be non-hostile. And then when I needed the fight to start, I would pause the game, change them to hostile, and then unpause the game. So not having that option... Well, can I kill a group of guys? Because I guess what I could do is can I just kill all these guys at once? That didn't work. I guess I would have to just... He's not dying. What the fuck? This guy is just not dying. Wait, maybe it is working and that guy's just invincible. Oh, you know what? They are invulnerable. Because I had to turn that off the first time. Yep, immortal. Can I do it? Can I do multiple? I can do multiple. So can I select these 3 at once and kill them all at once? Yes. So I guess what you would do is you do that. Or you would, like, you'd have non-hostile guys on the map, and then you would limbo them, like, send them to the Shadow Realm, and then spawn hostile ones in their place, which would be a lot of, like, finicking, but, you know, that's kind of how D&D works anyway. You know, obviously in D&D you wouldn't have that specific problem, but you do have the problem of, like, a combat encounter is starting. Give me, like, 20 minutes to set the map up, and then we have, like, we're going to be in combat for, like, an hour and a half, and then make sure you know everyone has their turns ready on your turn, because if you don't, then you're going to fucking waste everyone's time. Like, that's the big thing that's making me kind of want to do stuff like this, is specifically the combat anyway, because, you know, I just finished running a 4-year campaign of Tomb of Annihilation, the official D&D adventure, and that campaign is really fucking hardcore and has a lot of combat, especially near the end. And running combat in D&D, especially even 5th edition, which is like simplified compared to other editions, is a chore to me now. Like, I just do not enjoy running combat after doing Tomb of Annihilation. So I really, really want a combat simulator of some sort, so I don't even have to worry about it. And having it be also an interesting visual aid for VTT stuff. Because, you know, this game looks old, and it's low poly, but I love low poly stuff, and I think it really lends itself to being, like, it makes you feel like you can really fill in the gaps yourself. You know, like, these goblins down here are low poly as hell, but they, like, you could just sort of, if you're actually immersed in the situation, then you don't really care. It's just like a miniature, right? A lot of miniatures are painted like crap. Like, most people aren't good at painting minis. Some people don't even paint them. It's just a green, like a goblin would just be a green meeple, or a man, or like an army man. You know, it's all imagination. So this is just another visual aid. So the low polyness, but then you also still get beautiful shit like this. Like, this doesn't look bad at all. I mean, obviously it's low poly, and you can tell it's low poly. But maybe I'm just I'm old, so maybe I just well, I'm not that old, but, you know, I was a kid when this game came out. This was the pinnacle of graphics. Though I didn't, funnily enough, I didn't play this when this game came out. It was only in the past few years that I've discovered Neverwinter Nights. Yes, it's all about the art direction. I feel like they got a really good, like, style down. I mean, it's just a classic fantasy, like, it's like middle of the road high, middle high fantasy, like somewhere between high and middle fantasy. Not quite low, but it has like low fantasy aspects. But that being said, I think Divinity looks gorgeous. And, like, every aspect of Divinity looks good. And it's really immersive to be looking at a map in Divinity and seeing the characters, like, sitting and, like, looking at each other and stuff. But the other thing that Divinity doesn't have is group selection. I cannot move multiple characters at once, and I think that's a huge problem. But it's, I guess, just something that you deal with. I feel like Divinity really feels like a virtual tabletop. Even though it's a video game, when doing the GM mode in Divinity, I feel like I'm playing D&D like how I used to play D&D, like at the table, which includes all the faults, such as only being able to move one character at a time. In a video game, you would expect you to be able to do more, but, you know, you live and learn. You figure it out. Just like anything else, you know, you would figure out how to manage it. And it didn't seem to hinder the game, you know, being able to only control one guy at a time. It didn't really, like, when they did the role play. In combat, you can control, well, it's turn-based, so I guess it doesn't matter, but in this, you can do the selection and select multiple people. if I were to do that idea that I was talking about, where it's like I'm controlling everything and the people in the chat are voting on what should happen next, it would almost certainly be in this. Because this Neverwinter Nights feels definitely more like a sandbox that would allow me to do all sorts of shit. Where Divinity feels like a virtual tabletop, and if you don't have players, then nothing happens, right? You can set up enemies and have them fight each other, but it's not the same. It's not like this, where like I have all of this freedom. But the freedom also is what makes this a little bit more tedious and also kind of scary to run as a D&D tool, because it's like, especially since I can't pause the game. Like, I can move, but I can't do anything else. If I try to spawn a monster, technically is there spawning. There he is. Like, even if I spawn, like, he's not even spawned in yet. He's like halfway spawned. There he is. Now he's lovely, horrifying. He's like a Muppet. Like a paper mache Muppet. But yeah, I have a lot to think about. Obviously, the next test will be a big deal. It'll be me actually running something with actual people, seeing how it goes. Admittedly, I have run stuff in Neverwinter Nights before, but it was literally like 4 years ago. It was before I ran my Tomb of Annihilation game, and it was mostly just goofing off and for fun. So best looking goblin in the tribe. I hate to tell you, but I think they all look the same. Oh my god. Oh. Oh my god. Taking a screenshot. Oh. Oh my god, the goblin. What is that? What did I just do? Oh, I clicked the wand on accident. Yeah, I wish that Baldur's Gate 3 had DM mode. It would have been like literally the best thing ever created in the history of for me specifically in the world. But there are things about it that probably would have kept me from really digging into it, namely the ginormous file size, the fact that it's like you do need a pretty decent computer to run it. Like I have friends who struggle to run it, even in like the lower settings. So it would have been peak. It would have been awesome. And there's nothing to say that the modders can't do it someday and figure out how to add it. Who's to say that someone isn't even working on it right now? But Divinity is good too, because I another thing that I didn't bring up is that as much as I like Dungeons and Dragons, I feel like the combat system is very like, I wouldn't say it's bad, but I also wouldn't say it's good. It's like it's okay. But the thing about Divinity specifically, running GM mode in Divinity, it means that the game is made as a video game first, which in some ways makes balancing difficult. Like my players in that session were really like spamming the turn skipping moves. So like they were putting characters to sleep, they were crippling people. Obviously, I think that comes from the fact that the monsters that I put on the map didn't have like a lot of basic stats. Like they didn't have like any magic armor or physical armor, which is what blocks that stuff. Blocks sleep and blocks crippling and things like that. So you know, it would just be figuring it out. But I do like Divinity's system a lot better as a automated or video gamey version of D&D than even D&D's. Because spell slots for spells in a video game are ass. Like in Dungeons and Dragons, spell slots work because you're already taking time and you literally just, if you want to do a long rest, you just say you do one, right? If the DM allows it. But in Baldur's Gate 3, I'm glad they made the camp system and there was stuff to do at the camp, but having to rest every like between every combat because I had like a character that had spell slots and the fight took a little harder to get through, especially at early levels. It was just annoying in my opinion. In Divinity, when you're not in combat, your spells just recover over time, and when you're in combat, they recover after a few rounds. So Yeah. So I liked Divinity a lot, and I liked engaging with that combat system a lot. And it was funny. Like, putting up the explosive barrels and stuff was actually very entertaining. That's not something we're going to get in this system in Neverwinter, that's for sure. Because in Neverwinter, there isn't, like, a physics engine or anything. If there was, that would be fucking goated. But, you know, this game came out before Half-Life came out, so Half-Life 2. So, but I don't know. Like, in terms of, like, a viewable experience, I feel like this Neverwinter has more Did it just start raining? What the fuck? This game have a dynamic weather system? I didn't tell it to do that. Weird. Anyway. I don't know. Gonna need a lot of testing. Gonna need a lot of figuring stuff out. Because I definitely want to do this, and I'm doing it with streaming in mind, and I'm doing it with, like, ease of access in mind. I definitely feel like in terms of running a game, especially in a way that I am used to, Divinity runs just like how I usually run D&D, just, you know, in a different system. But Neverwinter has more options, you know, is easier to manage in terms of putting stuff together, but actually running it, I don't know exactly yet. It feels like there's a lot, and it's a lot to manage, and if I want to do certain things, then it's going to take a lot of getting used to, and there's going to be a learning curve. It feels like that, but I won't know for sure until I actually do the test, and see what my friends say. But yeah, I don't know exactly what you mean by CC, but I imagine it's something about like stun locking. I mean, there are the mods transfer over to the GM tools, so like I could mess with it. But it is a big issue, you know. But it did result in some funny moments, like when the players were trying to get the cow into town and I had it like run in a different direction. They turned the cow into a chicken. That was fun. Yeah, stuns and such. Yeah, I think the thing about that is that it's just part of the game. And, like, I've been playing recently through the campaign, and I've gotten further than I've ever gotten. And because of that, I've been learning a lot about how the combat stuff works. And I do use sleep and stun. You know, I use chloroform almost every fight because it's good. But there are ways I feel like that I could balance it. Like, instead of just trying to stop it from happening, you just expect it, so you, like, add more enemies. I mean, that's... If I was running a D&D campaign, that's what I would do if, like, the sleep spell was overpowered, right? It's just, like, you just add more. If that's how the players are going to want to play, then you find a way to make it still work without it being unfun, you know? Adding more isn't necessarily making it unfun if one creature is taken out of the battle every, you know, turn. I mean, I'm pretty sure that that's just how the game goes, because I also have been playing, and it's borderline just my first time, because I've played it before, but never really got that far. Like, I would get off Fort Joy, fuck around in Driftwood, and then, like, stop playing. You know, so right now is, like, my first time, and, like, yeah, most of my builds have either, like, almost every character that I have has some sort of stun. Like, someone has cripple. So, 2 people, I think, at one point had chloroform. They don't anymore, but they did early on. Knock down, you know, things like that. And the way that the game prevents that is, for one, you know, you have to knock the armor down first, which is a big part of it. And for 2, they'll just have enemies that are, like, shooting you from above or whatever. Man, that's another thing I really like. God, I hate cover and I hate range in D&D. It's so annoying to track all the time. Even fall damage turned into an annoying thing to track because we were doing it so often. Yes. I think another thing about D&D, though, is that even though I like the Divinity combat system in terms of it being a unique way to play a D&D type game, I do think that Dungeons & Dragons has a much broader variety of spells and more interesting spells, even 3rd edition. In some ways, 3rd edition even has better spells than 5th edition. And they're in the game. You can have an entire build in this game that is totally useless in combat, but still viable, like somehow, because they're in the game. You know, they have those spells. I don't think prestidigitation's in the game, but maybe. Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. Players getting stun locked is not fun. I mean, I guess the big thing would be if it turns into an issue, then you talk to the players and be like, hey. But that's not how you really want... Oh, I don't know. Because when I ran Tomb of Annihilation, I had some homebrew rules that made the game harder. And so setting up homebrew rules in a tabletop game is just how you play it. So I don't see why that wouldn't necessarily translate into a virtual version. You just tell your players, like, hey, if you don't spam your stuns, then I won't spam my stuns, kind of thing, you know. But I don't know. That would require a lot more testing. You know, that would probably need a whole campaign to be run to really understand. But I wasn't necessarily planning on running entire Tomb of Annihilation 4-year campaigns or anything. I just wanted to see what it was like and maybe stream it more as a show. You know, I want to make I've always wanted to do a D&D show where somehow the audience, the chat, has a way of engaging. Be it the thing I talked about earlier, like this, where it's like you guys are literally controlling everything, or just voting in stuff into an existing game with actual players, where it's like heal them, or this NPC is going to be a dirtbag, or, you know, while the PCs are in combat, the chat is voting on a series of polls that are generating the next NPC. Like, starts with the race, and then the gender, and then the class, and blah blah blah, and sets up a character, their personality. I've always wanted to do that. I love being I love the presentation. You know, I like being an entertainer. It'd be fun. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff for modding in Divinity. The thing that makes me sad is that there's not a lot of monsters for the GM mode. Even though there is the ability to add monsters in the GM mode, not a lot of people have done so, which makes me sad. I think one of the main reasons they didn't make GM mode for Baldur's Gate is probably because GM mode was just not that popular. Like, it's really good and really powerful, not bad. It's just how many people are willing to DM games for their friends in something like that, you know? I just love the presentation of it, though. I love that it makes it look cool. It lets you do interesting things with your characters and the environment. It's fully animated. You know, a lot of people are like, well, theater of the mind. And I'm like, yeah, well, that only gets you so far, you know? I feel like even Neverwinter Nights, in its own respect, is more engaging to watch than people just sitting around a table and talking, specifically for combat. I usually have trouble watching actual play D&D shows because I just get bored because there's nothing to watch, you know? And they're like, oh, just listen in the background. It's like, well, there's other things I'd rather be listening to, sadly. If I'm going to have background noise like music or my friends role-playing their own things, you know? I like the visual aspects. That's partly also why I want to try this and Divinity. But, you know, we'll see what happens. I also still want to run my own stuff in VR. But right now, as of right now, I'm kind of more leaning towards one of these systems before I do something in VR. I might, I've made my tavern map for VR chat. So that's definitely going to be some sort of something at some point. Even if it's only a group of 5 of us. You know, just get a small group of people who are interested and just do it once or twice. Or here and there every once in a while. The tavern roleplay. But I feel like right now VR roleplays are a little bit overloaded. There's a ton of them going on right now. And I don't want to have to compete terribly with it. And I don't necessarily feel like I want to put a ton of effort into trying to compete. You know? I feel very content right now with Eden. In terms of helping run. And in fact, I've even been thinking, I keep thinking I'm being chased by something because the fucking branches of trees that are not in my vision, but only are when I get close. Keep like popping up. I'm like really cranking really hard on this finale to the point where like VR DMing is just kind of, I'm starting to burn out. So I definitely am going to take a major DMing break. I'll still be at Eden, but like I think I'll be, you know, sidelining as a DM and mostly NPCing and after the finale. What is that? Tracks. Oh, this is probably for the thing that's supposed to. I'm glad you like it so much. I've been working hard on it. We all have been working hard on it. I hope we pull off the finale. I know the last episode wasn't necessarily the greatest, but we had some faux pas that made that not as good as it could have been. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I still want to go to Eden, and season 2, everyone's going to get to make their own character, including DMs. So I'll have my own character that is like, you know, same level as a PC. I'm playing with the idea of, well, if he survives, it might be Gary. But I'm thinking Gary is probably, I kind of, you know, I like Gary a lot, and I like the progression that Gary's been going through and his story. But if I were given the chance to make my own character, it would not be Gary. I like Gary for what he is, and I really love that he was developed naturally. Because that's also how my FT character that I love playing came about, Daisy. I didn't go into FT thinking, I'm going to play a lady hobbit that turns into a farmer. I just made that character randomly, and it turned into what it was. And that's the same with Gary. And that does make really good NPCs and really fun engagement conversations and stuff. But if I'm given the opportunity to make an actual full-fledged PC and engage with the world and have my own story, I'll probably want to actually make something. You know, Gary will still be around as an NPC, especially if I'm still a DM. But there's a very high chance that Gary. Well, I don't know. I can't say exactly what will happen with Gary because first of all, he needs to survive, and second of all, he's very like tied to Chloe's story. So like whatever ends up happening with Chloe is gonna be what ends up happening to him. I'm not entirely even sure if Chloe's coming to season 2. I don't know. I don't know who's bringing what character or what. But obviously, if she does, he more than likely will be there in some capacity. But I don't know if he's going to stay a hunter or take on more of a desk job role, you know, because that's kind of what he was supposed to be. And then he kind of got forced to be a hunter by his family and stuff, which was funny because that was mostly done before even any of the shit happened. Before anything happened with Chloe and any story stuff happened, the reason that Gary even showed up at the hunter training was because we thought it would be funny. Like, Gary only met Chloe at that hunter training because we wrote in this idea that Gary, it'd be funny if, like, the secretary showed up to hunter training for no reason. And that's why if you watch, I think the VODs are gone, but if you watch the very first time Gary went to hunter training, I was, like, hamming it up so hardcore. Like, I was like the like stereotypical super unathletic nerd going through the fucking like ringer, like, and then it turned into like I basically accidentally was good at stuff, which I thought was funny. And then I like started beating people's asses because I was smart, and it was just funny. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. You know. I like that character. I don't want him to die. We'll see. I will say the next episode is going to be rough. Because it's Withorn, and Withorn is a huge deal to a lot of the characters, and it also has already been in lore set up to say that it's like one of the worst off places in all of Ainz. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be E-Day Part 2. In fact, we're not even planning that. It's not going to be like a mega combat fest. But it is fucked up. And it's yeah. We haven't even had the major DM meeting, but I've been writing a fuck ton for it. And there will be some fights. Because it is fucked up there. But Yeah, it's gonna be good. Imagine running Eden in this. That'd be kind of funny. Because the thing about Neverwinter also that I didn't even bring up is that you can have like an unending amount of people. It's not like Divinity is restricted to 5 players, including the DM, so 4 player characters and the DM. This game you can have any number of DMs, any number of player characters that your heart desires. So it would be kind of a lot. As I said before, people run this sometimes as like an MMO, but they're like living world experiences where people come and go, and like the world continues living even if DMs aren't there, even if players aren't there, because it's like a server with NPCs doing things. You know, at least it's insinuated. But I have this other really weird idea that I've been wanting to do forever that I probably would just do in Neverwinter. And like now talking about it, even though I love Divinity's GM mode, a lot of these like ideas really only fit in uh in Neverwinter because of how it can run. But I had this idea where it's like it's called in my head, and it's not. This is gonna sound weird because it has your name in it, but I called it Doom or Bust, and it was essentially the idea is that you have you start. It's Lord of the Rings. You start at the Council of Elrond, but it's as if the main characters didn't exist. It's not that they're dead, it's just that there are different people there. And that's the player characters. So you start at the council where all of the like where the dwarves and the elves and the humans and you know, probably some hobbits, even though they're not going to be the main characters. You know, they're not going to be Frodo and them. They're all there talking about who's going to take the ring, and that's the player cast. And then the player cast take the ring, and then from that point, it is literally just a what if scenario, and the players have to get with their fellowship the ring to Mount Doom however they see fit. And that would be the whole game. Would it be super accurate? Probably not. I'm not the biggest like major accuracy Lord of the Rings nerd, but I think it would be really fun because you would just be playing the game, doing encounters. You know, there'd be rolls for people getting turned by the ring. You know, it would be a lot, and it would if they fail, it would be a hard end. Like they would be like, oh well, they failed, and that's it. You know, um, yeah, that would be really cool. And I was thinking about making it like an annual thing, and then adding weird modifiers every year. So like one year it's like normal, but then the next year it's like it's they're trying to take the ring to Mount Doom, but there's like 100 of them, you know, or they're trying to take the ring to Mount Doom, but they're all wizards. Every single one of them is a wizard. They have to get it there, and there's like 20 ring rates after them, or like do it weird and be like it's the reverse. They are trying to get to. They are they're a bunch of orcs trying to take some sort of artifact to Hobbiton. You know, whatever. You know, it's just some weird modifiers to it. Would be fun. And yeah, again, if they fail, then they fail. If they go outside and trip and break their neck, it's like, oh, well, fucking died. Yeah. I don't know. That was just another idea I had, but I'm looking forward to testing this. I've been rambling a little too long, and I want to go to bed. So, this was an experience. I might have to run through this DM thing again just to remember all the shit that it can do. But I'm excited to see where it ends up going. And I'll definitely be streaming it. So be on the lookout in the coming days for Neverwinter Nights, Dungeons and Dragons. We will be running the first few missions of the Fandelver campaign as a test to see if we like it. But for now, Doom and anyone else who's here, thank you kindly for sticking here, having a gander and a listen to the ramblings. And we are going to raid out to someone. Let us see who is available. It would be funny to grade to Flonica because I was literally watching Flonica earlier and like in their chatting, and then I just disappeared without saying anything. So it would be like I was talking to them, and then and then went and streamed myself. But let's see who else is streaming. Well, actually, you know what? Pingu's streaming. We like Pingu. Yeetree. Oh my gosh, Lexi's still streaming. I don't know what they're doing. Um, CrossFit streaming too. They're all all these people streaming. It's freaking 3 a.m. It's 6 a.m. for them. Man, this is a hard choice. U, E, O, E, O, E, O, let's go to Pengu. Let's go to Pengu. All right, guys. Thank you again. I'm sleepy. Sleepy time. Sleepy time. Goodbye.